What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Power Platform TV. Today, we're going to take a look at Copilot for customer service. Copilot is baked into so many of the Microsoft products already, and the Dynamics 365 customer service line also has Copilot capabilities. So we're going to take a look at that in this video. And before we get started, I just want to kind of talk high level about Copilot and some of the use cases that I think are going to be applicable for the Copilot for customer service, right? And so I wrote a blog about this. You can check it out at my blog, carldesouza.com, right here. We're going to go through the steps that I have in this blog here. So if you need to reference anything, go check out this page and it'll walk you through what we're going to go through in the video. When we think about the use cases for Copilot, we really start off with the site here of copilot.microsoft.com. Okay, so this is basically the front end, almost retail site here that everyone can have access to. And here you can basically ask questions, right? And Copilot has its roots in OpenAI, the same as ChatGPT. So when you're asking questions in ChatGPT, that a lot of people have used ChatGPT, and so they know the capabilities of how it can be useful. We get the same capabilities here with Copilot, and really Copilot is Microsoft's branding of this OpenAI technology. And really, there's so many pieces across Microsoft's product lines that can take advantage of this really interesting AI technology, right? So if you were just kind of like a person who's, out there on the internet doing regular things and you want to find answers to things, you can come here and just ask questions of Copilot and it's going to give you those answers back, okay? Or it's going to do its best to give you those answers back, right? And if we and you can see here, you have things like, why do people fly in their dreams, right? And if we were to click on this, then we're basically asking Copilot to give us an answer here. And it kind of like types out the response here in real time, okay? And it goes through the many sources that it has in the internet, and it basically pulls together something that it believes is meaningful, okay? And not always is it meaningful. Sometimes it, isn't quite accurate, but a lot of the time, a very, very high percentage of the time, it's providing very useful information. And so you can see here, it's still going because it's providing everything that it can in a concise way about why do we fly in our dreams, right? So this is kind of an interesting one. Now, if we were to type in something very simple here, and I'm just going to type in what is the capital of Iceland, then we'll see here, it's just going to give us a response. I'm just picking a very simple example here. And it says the capital is Reykjavik, and it's the largest city in the country. And then it provides some more information here as well, okay? And the reason I wanted to do a very simple example like this is because we're going to see later on in the video how this works inside of customer service, okay? So that's where things get a little bit interesting, all right? So what we're going to do now is let's head over to our Customer Service Admin Center app, and we're going to take a look at how to configure this inside of customer service. So this is the Customer Service Admin Center app, and if you don't see it immediately, you will basically see in the apps here, this is the one you want, Customer Service Admin Center, all right? So go ahead and select that, and then we're going to come down here, and we're going to go over to Productivity, all right? And this has two areas that have Copilot functionality configurable here, okay? And we can see them right at the top, and they have this little logo here that says AI Copilot next to it. And we have the Copilot help pane and the summaries, all right? The Copilot help pane, let agents use AI to find answers to respond to customers. And the summaries is let agents catch up on cases and live conversations using AI-generated summaries, okay? So both of those are very interesting. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one here. And this is the Copilot help pane. And really, if we just take a quick step back here, the things that we're trying to achieve with Copilot in customer service are the same things that we're going to try to achieve in customer service without Copilot. And what are we trying to achieve with customer service? Well, we want customers to be happy. We want to be able to resolve cases quickly, right? We want to be able to just make sure that we're doing everything right for the customer. All right. So if a customer has an issue, for example, if they contact us and they say, hey, we have an issue with some product that we bought from you, right? We want to be able to get them up and running again as quickly as possible. We want to resolve that issue. We want to fix the product defect. We want to go through a quick set of troubleshooting and fix any issues they have and get them back on their way again, right? So Copilot kind of thinks about that problem and says, well, what can we do to help there? And there are some ways that we're going to see here where Copilot can help, and it's really all about resolving cases and interactions as quickly as possible. Okay, so firstly, the Copilot help pane. Set up the Copilot help pane for agents. Agents can use this pane for helping with writing emails, getting AI-generated answers to questions, and things like that. Okay, so we want to check this here to make Copilot available to agents. We're going to see that in live action soon. Then we have here whether they can use AI during a customer chat to identify questions and answers. And here we have the customer chat enabled, and we do see its preview here. So live answers during a customer chat. And then we have email here, writing responses to emails. Okay, so we have all of this checked here in my environments. And then agent access, agents added to the out-of-the-box experience profiles can use Copilot. So we'll see also in a second, we do want to make sure that the agents have their agent experience profiles set up. This is a concept in customer service workspace. So you basically assign agent experience profiles to different users, and those users need the profile that has Copilot enabled. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Then we got here knowledge sources. Including your organization, certain knowledge sources. So basically, when we're getting answers back from Copilot, right? So let's say a customer asks a question, we can respond using information from our knowledge base, right? And you can see here that's using knowledge base here as a source. And then we can also tell it to look in other places as well to get that information. And just as an example here, I've added the weather.com website, and I've added Wikipedia. Okay, so both these websites are performing different functions here. Weather.com returns the weather, as you'd imagine, in a city. And then Wikipedia returns a whole ton of information. You can have a maximum of 5 web addresses here. And there are some restrictions around this. So let's say with Wikipedia, let's say I did /1/2, right? And I tabbed off this. There's no problem with that. If I do a /3 here, it says add a maximum of 2 page levels after the .com part of the web address. Okay, so in terms of like the information that it has access to through indexing, it can only go 2 levels deep when it comes to this particular functionality. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. It may depend on how your site is structured as well as to whether you run into limitations or not. And then finally, we have the agent experience data here. Record how agents are working with AI Copilot to understand its impact on customer service. Recorded data can be used by your organization to analyze knowledge sources and build usage reports. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. If you want to, just record the transcripts, you don't have to, but if you want to record them, it may give you some insight into what questions your agents are asking the Copilot. All right, so I have all of that set up on this side. And if I go back to the productivity tab here, I have summaries, and this is let agents catch up on cases and live conversations during AI-generated summaries. So this is extremely useful. If you're an agent and you're coming in cold into a case, you want to be able to understand as much as possible very quickly. And especially if you're dealing with a customer who's just called in on the phone, or if it's a live chat situation, you need to quickly look at all the history and see what this case is all about, right? And with these summaries, it's going to give you a very quick summary after looking through all the history for you, basically. Okay, so you can get that snapshot as an agent, and then you can reply quickly back to the customer. So that's what this is. And it says here it's only supported in a limited number of languages. Make customer summaries available to agents. So this is what we're selecting here. And you can add here, if you click on manage data, this is kind of the mapping that it does here to figure out, like, here it says the case title maps to the case entity and then the title, case title data field, right? So this is how it kind of organizes its information here. And then we have add up to 10 email addresses to exclude. Emails sent from the listed email addresses won't appear in the case summaries. Okay, so you can do that here. Live conversation summaries, select when a live conversation summary is available to agents. And here we want to be able to select when they're able to use these summaries. So when an agent joins a conversation, when a conversation ends, allow agents to create a case summary with a button, a case with a button in the summary. Okay. If we click on this one, the conversation summary will be used as the case description, and then on demand. And I like this on demand one because you're just able to keep pressing it just to get a summary as you keep going. Okay. And then you also have this other setting that we just saw in the previous tab about recording how the agents are using Copilot. And then back up here, if I go to manage format, we have here the different formats that the conversation is going to be displayed. And so you could either have it as a structured format like this, and if I scroll down a little bit, this is an example here, and you can see here it's kind of structured as the customer issue, and then the troubleshooting steps, the outcome. So like customer issue, and then the customer has a problem with their Smart Brew 3000, et cetera, right? So that's one way to do it. And then the other way is just to have it all just in a paragraph. And then here it just kind of dumps it all in one paragraph like that. And both of these examples are very useful. It's just up to you how you want to display the format. So I'm going to go and keep it as a paragraph for now and click save. And I will note that sometimes when you make these changes, it does take sometimes a couple of minutes potentially to cycle through. So you'll just keep that in mind if you make a change, okay? So let's go ahead and now take a look at how this works in action. So here I am over on the customer service workspace app, and we can see here that the Copilot tab is already opened here. And this here is what I was talking about with the agent experience profiles. So everyone who has used customer service workspace before is probably familiar with this app side pane here. And I'm going to go back over actually to the configuration here. And if I go over to search admin settings here, and then I can just search for agent experience profiles, and they're basically stored under workspaces. And you can see here that these are the different ones that I have set up here. And here is the customer service trial profile. And I'm just going to use this as an example because this is the one that I'm actually assigned to here. So you can see here, okay? And over here we can see the productivity pane, right? So that is the app side pane. That's how you configure it. And we can see here that it's turned on. And here is the Copilot help pane, right? So you need to be assigned as a user to a profile that has this turned on. And if you're not assigned to a profile with this on, then you're not going to see the Copilot side pane, okay? So it's simple as that, all right? So that's what that is. So now I'm going to hop back over to this demo, and here is an icon. You can just kind of collapse the inbox view here. And so what I have here is this is a view of some cases that I have, and we can see here the summary here, right? This is a summary tab. It's not open yet. I haven't expanded it yet. But I'm going to do that in a second. And then over here, the Copilot pane, and we can already basically ask a question, or we could write an email, all right? So let's go through this. If you look at the timeline down here, right, we have some transcripts here from this customer, Claudia Mazzanti. So she has some transcripts. So she's contacted this organization before, and she's had some issues, it looks like. So we have a live chat here, and it says a mineral buildup in the water supply, okay? And then we can go and take a look at the transcript and get more information in terms of like, what was this all about? What was going on in that chat session, right? And so that's loading here. You can see here that there's a lot of information about the chat between the agent and herself. And then there's some other information here. We have here an email that was sent from her. And so she reached out. And then the last thing she said was that she's available for a call right now and that that's the correct number, okay? And then there is more of the email chain down here. So there's just a lot of things going on here. And you can imagine if she were to call in right now, we would have to read through all of this in order to be able to help her out properly. And where Copilot comes in here is the agent can now just click on expand this summary here. And you can see here that we get this summary, right? And it says here that Claudia Mazzanti is experiencing reduced pressure and water flow issues with her Smart Brew 3000 machine. And then it goes into all this detail about, some other things with the ticket here, and then it says she's confirmed her availability for a call and provided her contact number. Okay, and we can see here it says AI generated. And if we didn't like this for some reason, we can regenerate this, and it'll go through and regenerate this, and we can copy this if we want to take this text and put it onto somewhere else for some reason. But this gives the agent a very quick snapshot of what's going on with this case. Over here on the side here, one thing I want to point out real quick here is that we have here the Smart Assist as well. And so the Smart Assist is opened up, and this is an older technology that is used in customer service workspace, specifically really for knowledge articles. And so we have a knowledge base here that has articles on how to resolve issues for this organization. So specifically like this Smart Brew 3000 machine that Claudia has purchased and is having issues with, there are some knowledge articles here on how to resolve these issues with things like with the water pressure and things like that, okay? And so an agent could theoretically, click on any of these articles and go through and read these. And what Copilot does is Copilot is pointing to these articles already. So we can just ask questions of Copilot and it's going to help us automatically to derive those answers, okay? So I don't know what's the future of Smart Assist, but Smart Assist has been great for a long time in many use cases, and now really the AI is a level above that, and so agents don't have to go through all of the knowledge articles to gather that information, and they could still do that if they just wanted to verify things. So that's the Smart Assist, and let's hop back over to Copilot here, and then here it says, hi Carl, what do you need? And here we can ask questions of the AI. And so, we could type in something like how to resolve water pressure issue with Smart Brew 3000. So we type this in and it says getting answers for you here. And, sometimes this takes just a couple of seconds, but you'll see here now it's provided us with a whole set of steps here in terms of how to resolve this issue. And so it says to resolve the water issue with the Smart Brew 3000 coffee machine, you can do the following steps: check the water tank, check the water level, clean the brewing process, restart the coffee machine. Okay, so this is all coming from the knowledge base, which is great. And if we scroll down a little bit here, we can do check sources, and then it provides us with links directly to these knowledge articles, right? So if I clicked on this one, it's going to open the knowledge article itself, and then the agent, again, has that ability just to kind of read through it and make sure that the AI is really understanding things correctly, because the AI is still trying to interpret what it reads here, basically. And then, so the agent can double check, and at least they can have confidence in the answers provided. So that's the asking a question. And then if we go over here to write an email, this one's kind of interesting because this gives us the ability to answer and reply to emails from customers, again, in a very smart way using the AI. So let's try this. I'm going to go over here, and here we have an email from the customer. I'm going to go ahead and open this email, and it's opening in this different tab here. And you can see once it opens, straight away, this tab here, the Write an Email tab, is highlighted, and it's giving us all these suggestions here, okay? So the last email here was, I'm available for a call, and I'm going to go and reply to this, and it's going to be from myself here to Claudia, And so I'm ready to write this reply message. And the first thing I can do here is suggest a call if I want. So let's say I click on suggest a call here. What happens is it's going to go through and use the AI to come back with this message here. And it says, "Dear Claudia, thanks for reaching out to us. To ensure that we can address your concerns, I would like to suggest a call between us. And I appreciate this." And it provides some more information. Now, what's a little bit wrong here is that Claudia has already said that she's available for a call and that that's the correct number. And then the AI is basically saying, well, I'd like to suggest a call, right? So that kind of doesn't make sense. The context isn't quite there 100%, right? And so I think that there are some things that are a work in progress here. What an agent can do in this case, if you click copy here, it's going to put all the text in here. What you can do is you can just change this text, take out anything that you don't need, it doesn't make sense, and then use that to, in which way you want, if you want to reply to the email that way. Okay, so that's one example. Let's take a look at some of the others. Request more information. And by the way, with this suggest a phone call, all of these are kind of standard replies that are available in all situations, apart from the last one, where we can open it up to write whatever we want. So I believe it's probably not taking into the context with the last one in terms of that there already was a call that's kind of being set up and in progress, right? So it's not looking at it that way. Instead, it's probably looking at the rest of the history and saying, okay, let's set up a call. Okay. But like I said, work in progress. So this one here, we're looking at, it says, thanks for reaching out. To better assist you, I'd like some more additional information. And then it provides some bullet points here with some things to try and some information that they're requesting, right? And here it puts my name at the bottom and it says customer support agent. Okay, so that's a nice one. Let's go back over to here. Empathize with feedback, right? So we're going to get some empathy in here generated by the AI, which is interesting. And this is saying, thanks for reaching out to us. I understand you are facing pressure here, and I would like to pass your complaints along to ensure that this is looked into. I appreciate your interest. So there's a little bit more of empathy in here, and that's something else that could be used. Now let's take a look over here. Provided product service details. So this one here has gone and created a longer email here with lots of information, right, about the product service and details. And then if we go to resolve customer's problem here it's just going to basically try and attempt to resolve the problem by providing all kinds of proactive solutions to resolve the issue, right? So here it says, to descale, do this, right? So that's kind of cool as well. And then let's do the final one here. If I do this, and it's describe what you want here. Say here, friendly greeting, and then apologize. And then I'm going to say, we will replace the machine. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this arrow here, and it's going to generate this email now. And the idea here is that, the company's basically admitting this machine is broken. We're going to replace it and be done. Okay. So if I scroll down a little bit here, we could see here it says we would like to offer you a replacement machine, right? And if I'm happy with this email, all I got to do here is click copy here. Just watch here on the right over here, on the left, sorry, over here under the email reply. If I click copy now, we can see here that it's put it straight into this email, right? So all I need to do now is just go ahead and click send, and that email is going to be sent, and I am done as an agent. So I really like this. I'm going to just go ahead and here and X out of this, and I won't bother about sending this one. It's going to X out of this, and we'll go all the way back to the case here. And I just want to show the summary being updated here. So at the moment, if we just click on the summary here, we're going to see that, it's doing its summarizing, and then it comes back here and it says, that now, as a result of my interactions, it says that myself and other customer service representative apologized for the convenience and offered Claudia a replacement machine to resolve the issue. And I call requested Claudia to schedule an appointment and arrange for a replacement. And he mentioned that he will be transitioning his case to a colleague while on vacation. Okay, that may have been in the email. I don't remember actually typing that, and that's why it's important to read the emails. But at least it's gone and updated the summary, and it looks like, it looks pretty good, right? And if you wanted to, let's say I added a note in here, and I said turn on and off. Let's try this, right? Turn on and off, and I'm going to say Claudia turned the machine on and off, and that appeared to resolve the issue. Okay, so if I go and add this note in here now, so now this is at the top of the timeline, and if I were to generate this summary now, let's see, what should happen is it should take into account that happened. And so it's added here at the bottom. It was noted that Claudia resolved the issue by temporarily turning the machine on and off. Okay, so I don't know how I got the word temporarily in there, but I guess it's done the assumption there. And of course you can, regenerate this if you want to. Okay, so that's the summary there. And now what I want to go and show is a live chat experience. I'm going to see the summary being generated through the live chat as well. So what I have here is a live chat widget that I just have on a random page here. And we're going to initiate a chat here. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And this chat widget is wired up to this customer service workspace environment. So as a result here, what we're going to see is a live chat coming through here in a second for this agent. And then here it is, and if I click accept, we'll be able to chat now with this agent and that customer. So this agent's now all ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this quick reply here, and I'm just going to say, do like a hello quick reply, and it's hello, you're chatting with this agent, how may I help you? Okay, and over here, the customer here can type in a message, and they're saying something like, let's say, for example, hi, I'm Claudia Mazzanti. How are you? Right? And then the agent can go in and authenticate the customer. You probably would log into a portal to get that authentication. But what I'm just going to do for this demo here is set this particular conversation to this customer record here. Okay, so that way it's going to provide us with some context when we're getting answers to these questions. All right, so now Claudia is chatting here, and the agent can reply, I'm great, how can I help you? And we're going to get into the conversation now. And so Claudia is going to say, the water pressure on my Smart Brew 3000 is low. Okay, so straight away when that happens here, back on the agent side, we can see already that, so the Smart Assist has already jumped up to 6 answers here. Okay, so it's trying to help us here with getting this thing resolved. And down here is where Copilot comes in through the chat interface. So we have here summarize conversation and suggest a response. All right. If I click on suggest a response now, what's going to happen here on the Copilot pane is it's gone into the ask a question tab, and it's looking through answers to this question. Okay, and here is an answer that it's come up with. So it's written the whole answer out for us here, and it's basically gone through and looked in the knowledge base and provided all these steps here. So all I got to do here is just click send to customer, and it's going to provide the answer, right? Now here it says add some context and refresh. So let's say for example, the water tank was already checked, right? So I'm going to say water tank was already checked. And then if I go ahead and click refresh here, what it's going to do, or what it should do, is remove that first suggestion for the customer. And you can see that it's removed it. So now the first one is check the water inlet. Okay, so if I scroll down here, it has all these other things to check here. And we've added some context to the solution that we're trying to get to here. So I'm just going to go ahead and click send to customer here. Okay, and so all of this was sent to the customer. Looks like here at the bottom, let me know if you have any, and it doesn't have the word questions or something. I think it's missing the word questions, right? So this is, again, one of those things where you just want to double check everything that's returned here and make sure it looks good. And let's go ahead and reply here. So, Claudia can say, I already descaled, for example. I already descaled. And then the customer and the agent can just keep going back and forth to figure out this issue, okay? Now, what's really kind of interesting here is the kinds of things that you can reply to. So if I go back as a customer, I want to show the sources come into action here, okay? So let's say I, type in something completely random and I say, what is the weather in New York today? Okay, so if I type that off as a customer, then as the agent, I can come back and select suggest a response here. And I have weather.com as a source that you saw earlier, but we're going to see something interesting here. It says that, I apologize, I don't have access to real-time weather. However, you can check the weather in New York today by visiting a website. And then here it gives the Weather Channel website, okay? So I think that's because the information or the data in the Weather Channel website is more than 2 levels deep when it comes to this specific information. So you are not getting an exact response back, unfortunately, but it's still interesting because it just highlights the use cases here, right? And the boundaries. Now, previously I did, what is the capital of Iceland, and this was done directly into the Microsoft Copilot, copilot.microsoft.com. And here, if I do it on this side, because we have Wikipedia set up as a source here, we're going to see the answer come back here now. And so there's our answer. We can go ahead and send that to the customer, right? And let's say that we want to let's try something else that's super random. Let's try capital of Spain, for example. And if I go ahead and send this one, then again, the agent can come in here and hit the suggest a response, and the Copilot's going to go over and think about it, and then it'll come back with the answer. And interestingly here, I don't know what this is, assistant message, the capital of Spain is Madrid. I don't know what that is. So, and again, this is, look at that, preview thing there, right? So they're still working out some kinks here, obviously. But, I've been playing around with this for some time, just kind of asking the most silly questions, and it comes back with all kinds of answers that are accurate, so it's really kind of interesting. But really the business use cases for this are the things that the customers are going to use, and that's where I think it's going to become very powerful. Because again, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to be able to answer questions quickly. We want to keep customers happy. So that's why we're doing all of this. And then the final thing we want to show here is if we go over to summarize this conversation here. So, if you think about it, this is a live chat. This is an active live chat now. And what it's doing now, if I'm an agent and I've been looking at this for some time and I'm just like, okay, I need this summarized again. Tell me, throughout this conversation, what's happened, right? So here, it's gone ahead and it's summarized this for me. And it says here, okay, customer issue, the water pressure is on the smart brew is low. Here's the troubleshooting steps. And you can see here, it's laying it out in the template this time. Okay, so again, that was one of the configuration options of paragraph versus template. It's showing it in the template here. And here is the outcome. And basically, these are the steps to troubleshoot. And then there was no error codes mentioned in this conversation. With products, sometimes they say I have an error code 8000, for example, but there was none mentioned here. And root cause, the cause of the low pressure was not mentioned in the conversation. All right. So it's gone and just summarized the active conversation as well, which is, again, very helpful. So this is where we are with Copilot for customer service. There's, I think, some great functionality in here. And as with Copilot in general, the more accurate it gets, the better it's going to get. And then Microsoft is going to keep baking this into other aspects of the customer service application, as well as obviously other parts of the Power Platform. Hope you guys enjoyed.